Launchboom connected us with the experts in the Indiegogo team who helps the campaigns. We worked with them to get some of the newsletters featured, etc. And that gave us nearly 25% or 30% additional revenue or additional raise we generated through them. Apart from that, I have to be honest with you, we have not worked with any agency, no marketing agency, no live ad campaign agency, no newsletters, no other experts. It was purely Launchboom thesis and Indiegogo's support. This was what worked for us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Masters of Crowdfunding podcast. Today we have Sai. Sai is the co-founder and CEO of Muse Wearables, the creator of the Ring One, a stunning wearable health tracker that can track your sleep, measure blood pressure, and complete payments as well. Welcome, Sai, to the podcast.
Hey Kevin, awesome to be here today.
Yeah, so I gave a very high-level overview of your product, and it's raised... Let me see here. It's raised over $1.2 million from 6,300 backers and it just ended a few days ago on November 3rd. Tell the audience a little bit more about your products.
So to give a better context, first I'll introduce myself. I am Sai. I'm co-founder and CEO at Muse Wearables. We are an Indian-based startup based in Bangalore. So we started this company thinking that, hey, why is there no tech company in India? Why do we use everything from outside, either West or East? We don't see anyone building really a large tech company based out of India. So that's how we started Muse, and that's our mission to see that, we know it's very hard. We are lagging behind a lot more years in terms of R&D, research, and so on and so forth. But that's our ambition, and that's why we started Muse. So we are into wearables right now. We have hybrid smartwatches as our first category of products. And we just launched Ring One, as you mentioned. It's the world's first smart ring that can do both advanced health tracking and payments with a great battery life. And, it's a very new category for us. And we see that we kind of thought through the category, and we see a great opportunity in the category. And we kind of designed Ring One in a way that it can actually set a benchmark. And since it's a new category, right, even though there are incumbent large companies, we see that there's a huge opportunity for us, and that's why we launched Ring One.
That's awesome. So I have, we were talking about this before we started recording. I have the Aura Ring right here, and for people listening on audio, I'm waving my hands showing that. So that's one of the main, I guess, comparables to your products. Sai, can you just talk a little bit more about how your products was engineered to be differentiated, and what the unique selling points of your product versus like an Aura Ring is?
Sure. So Aura Ring, I would say it's a great company and a great product and a great competitors, and it's good to have a benchmark like them for us to think about this category. However, we didn't see ourselves trying to compete with a company like Aura or anybody else. The way we designed this product was we went to first principles. We started seeing things. Hey, if somebody wears a smart ring, what would they do? What are the pain points they will have? What kind of interactions they will have with the device? And we also tried to look at existing jewelry market on what are the problems that people would face when they wear a ring. When they keep it somewhere, they lose it somewhere, how would they find it? So we went and actually wrote down probably 50 to 100 interactions that a person would do with a smart ring. And then we found out certain problems we wanted to solve and give an amazing experience for each of them. For example, the charging. So we provide a charging case where you can keep the ring inside and carry the charging case. And it has Bluetooth and it has a buzzer. So if you even, forget it somewhere, you can turn on, click a button on the mobile to find your ring. So there's no problem where, hey, it's a small gadget, I'll lose it somewhere. So we tried to think completely from ground principles, and we kind of built the product and all interactions and experiences with it. And coming to the features and or coming to the experiences, right? From design itself, we differentiated with Aura. So Aura goes with a minimalist design. We chose a bold minimalism as our design because all smart rings or whoever is trying to enter the market are trying to just replicate Aura or trying to look like Aura. But if we really have to beat them, or if you have to really set a benchmark, we have to completely differentiate ourselves from the looks of Aura ring. So that's how we started. That's completely our thinking. And I mean, our thinking goes like that. So we differentiated just from the looks of it. Then we created first of a kind interface in a smart ring where you can rotate one side of the ring to turn on and turn off certain modes. For example, you can turn on start an exercise mode, turn off stop the exercise mode. You can turn it on to other side. You can enable the payments, and turn off payments are completely disabled. So we created security for payments through such kind of an interface. So it's a first of a kind in the world to introduce such an interface in a smart tree, and you also get a haptic feedback when you use that interface. So it's very intuitive to use it. So like that. So that's one of the examples I gave. Like that, we thought about the products from ground up, and we created all features so that it can become the best product in the market. And I can keep going on and about how it's great or how it's the best product in the market and how it is better than Aura. But one part I would say we are still slightly behind Aura is the sleep study part. That's where we are currently doing a study on nearly 7,000 people. It will take another 4 to 5 months for us to complete that kind of a study. And then probably we would be much better than their algorithm in terms of sleep staging and sleep apnea detection. Other than that, we are 1.5 year advanced than Aura in terms of all hardware, all the technology we got into it. We filed 4 patents, and we kind of launched first of a kind, world's first wireless charging using NFC protocol. So our NFC chip in the antenna in our ring, it actually used for both payments and charging. So it's a first of a kind, right? So there are a lot of first of a kinds in the product that makes it stand out from Aura. And we would love you to shift to our product soon. And we have a trade-in program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely would prefer to use our clients' products over any of the other products on the market. I mean, and it has so many more useful features too, right? Like the NFC payments, which is huge. So what brought you to crowdfunding, Sai?
It's a very natural decision for us. We did crowdfunding for our first product also. This is our second product. We understand that, if you have a successful crowdfunding campaign, it can give a compounding effect, not just the revenues or not just the initial money you raise from it. You can understand the market, you can position the product well, you have early backers who would, tweak and improve your product and its positioning. You get recognized by a lot of people, you get opportunities, you get networking, you get distributors. It's so much compounding. I think it's one of the best ways to launch a product for a startup like us. Probably when we reach or when we have a couple of, I would say, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenues, that's the time where we can go and launch directly through our channels. But otherwise, we believe crowdfunding is a natural choice. And sitting in India and trying to sell to the world, I don't think there is any other better platform to do that.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds a lot like the strategies that even some of the most established companies that we work with here at LaunchBoom take to launch their product to maximize the reach as well. So tell me a little bit more about the strategies that you used to launch your first campaign and what you did differently on the second campaign, and what were some of the results and the differences in the results that you were able to achieve?
I think when we launched our first campaign, we knew very little about pre-marketing. We did some pre-marketing, but we did the campaign without having any structure, right? That was the very early times of our startup. Starting from messaging, starting from positioning of the product or understanding the consumers, etc. We never had any structure in our It was like, young energy. We just go launch something. That was the kind of thing we had in our first product. We did about 135K in our first campaign, but we didn't want to repeat the same mistake we did last time. So we course corrected a lot of things, and especially I would say launch boom was the best decision we took for the second launch we did recently. Especially we wanted to do product positioning perfectly, do the market messaging perfectly, and how can we create the most irresistible offer to the consumer, right? When we launch all this in the most structured way. I think the launch boom got us very structured into how we approached and launched our product, and I would recommend that to anyone who does not know how crowdfunding works. Not just that, even if they had done one campaign, been successful, I would still recommend them to use launch boom, because the structure really worked for us, right? It was the pinpoint, the perfect way of understanding customers, scaling everything. I would say from the beginning till end, I would say we followed all the classroom things to the pinpoint, and we try to learn and do it in a very structured way this time. So that is one of the big things which worked out for us. The second thing, little bit we did something very differently, was to introduce WhatsApp into the launch boom whole process, where we introduced WhatsApp into our email campaigns. That initially didn't work, but when we were launching the campaign, it really helped us as well.
Mm, that's fantastic. So what was the structure that was lacking from your first campaign? So your first campaign, you mentioned, did $135,000. Your second campaign, the Ring one that just ended, did $1.2 million. I want to dive deeper into like so you mentioned WhatsApp. So being able to, accumulating WhatsApp contact information, right? And please correct me if I'm incorrect here and making these assumptions. Accumulating, WhatsApp contacts, and then what was lacking structure from your first campaign that really held you back?
Sure. So WhatsApp was the last thing, I would say. It was not an important thing in the whole structure process. It was more about how we approached in terms of building our landing page, or I would say how do we structure the message, and to which customer are we talking to, and what is the exact message. So that was not there at all before. And the pre-launch, or the whole exercise we do with the launch boom, actually made it in a very structured way, number one. Number two, the feedback we received from the community, the feedback we received from the experts on how do we not just boast about the product, how do we sell the benefits better, which are the most important ones, how do we structure which one should be on the top, which one should be, not really important. So we don't need to sell too many things also. It's just that the best offer you can create in the most concise and, in a clear way where people can understand. That is something we really felt was the most important thing that brought structure into the launch. That is number one. So number two, the way we did our ads to reach to the right consumers, and the way we have to target the customers, the kind of audiences we need to target, how to test them. So these were something we were doing very randomly. We just were pouring money and trying very randomly before. So our return on ad spends were not really great first time. Here we really got the right audience by following the structured way the launch boom taught us. We really got the right audience, where I would proudly say today the best thing that happened to us in the campaign, our marketing budget was 1/15th, I would say, of the money we raised on crowdfunding, right? So that is something would not have been possible without going through this structured way of finding the right customers, getting the enough data, and scaling that, scaling marketing to such customers and getting to the launch. That was really important. And our day one was, I think that's a different story, that We can share sometime. The day one when we went live, it was so awesome. We had 1-2 minutes of brief silence. Nothing was happening, and we were really scared. But it was just the Indiegogo. The dashboard was not updating fast enough. So it was really great after that, and things went on like we did like highest day one for a smart ring. Then we did highest 500k, fastest 500k for a smart ring. Then we did fastest $1 million for a smart ring. And yeah, worldwide, we created a record for a smart ring launch on crowdfunding. Another key important aspect I missed was actually creating that community, the Facebook group that you guys suggested us to maintain, right? We really fell in love with it. I myself spoke to or answered to nearly 1,500 people before we went live, right? That helped that helped immensely in messaging, how to create perks, all of it. It really, really helped having a pre-launch audience to go for launch, which we never had in our first campaign.
Yeah, so I definitely want to come back, Sai, to the feeling that you had when you launched. But before coming back to that, I just want to highlight some of the things that you were saying. So it sounds like, and it's the same issue that a lot of product creators get into too, right? They're making the products and creating all these different features, and they want to talk about all the different features out there about their product, and they think all the different features is what's going to sell the product. But actually, that's not true, as I'm sure you've sort of experienced. It's how do you prioritize the benefits, and how do you position those specific benefits to the specific audience, and really finding that product market fits is what allows you to get a lower cost of advertising, right? And once you get the lowest cost of advertising, then that's when you have more margin per transaction to reinvest back into sales and marketing. And it usually leads to a bigger launch and a bigger campaign and more sales over the long run as well. Because those things that worked during your testing and optimization and product positioning exercises don't just end when your crowdfunding campaign ends, right? Those things continue to work in helping you market your product and do customer acquisition in the long run. So I just really wanted to highlight that for the audience, since so many people are so ingrained into features and all the things that their products can do, but simplifying the message, in your words, to the target consumers is really what works well.
100%. You're 100% right on that.
So let's come back to your feeling. Like, what did day one look like when the moment that you click launch? Tell me what you saw and what you heard and what the emotions were.
I would say our emotions were more relief than happy, I would say, because for the past, just before the launch, for 45 to 60 days, because we live in India, right? So we were working from 10 a.m. to next day morning 6 a.m. We had only 4 hours of break every single day. And we were working like machines, working and talking to people, answering them, building trust. Trust building was the most important thing. And we did all that. And when we went for launch, like I said, as soon as we clicked live, first minute there was zero. Nothing was happening. Second minute there was zero. Nothing was happening. We looked at ourselves. We knew we had it. We knew people were waiting, and on Facebook groups, they were doing countdown timers. Some people have kept timers and etc. But we don't know whether they'll convert or not, right? So we had that I cannot explain that feeling actually. But the moment after 2 minutes, when we saw that we are almost close to the goal, in 7 minutes we reached our funding goal. We don't even know if 7 minutes is correct because it was uploading slowly. But after that, I just shut everything off. I just went out for a walk. My team was working, continuously updating results. And by the time, in 22 hours, we actually bet our last year's revenue. As a startup, that was a big milestone to do 22 hours, your previous year's revenue target. So it was a good moment for us. And more than happy, we were relieved that time. And when we hit $1 million, that's when we were really, really happy.
That's incredible. So how much did you have to spend on advertising to hit $1 million?
Very less. That's probably a different story for us, I would say. Uh, we wish we had more money to spend on marketing. That's, I would say, if you ask me what is the thing that you did wrong, that is one of the things. We didn't spend enough money during the campaign. During the campaign, we had 10x average of 8x, but 10x in most of the campaigns was the return on ad spend for us. But we didn't have enough money to scale. Instead, we were spending money on the delivery. Like we thought, there's more opportunity in the future as well. We need to deliver now faster, as fast as possible. However, pre campaign we spent about $25,000. That's all we spent, or slightly more than that. But we had a result of about 310,000 or 315K on day one with that kind of a spend. And yeah, all the super backers, VIPs, we call them as super backers in our campaign. So they were like, we had a 50 to 60% conversion on day one, close to 60% on day one. So we got a great return on ad spend on the launch day. And it happened in a way that we didn't work on that day, but all the super backers were working for us, answering everybody's questions. They were amazing. And then they suggested many people. Their goodwill actually got us more backers for lesser cost, I would say. That's why our conversions were good during the campaign also. And then Indiegogo also, like Launchboom connected us with Indiegogo team, the experts in the Indiegogo team who helps the campaigns. We worked with them to get some of the newsletters featured, etc. And that gave us nearly 25% or 30% additional revenue or additional raise we generated through them. Apart from that, I have to be honest with you, we have not worked with any agency, no marketing agency, no live ad campaign agency, no newsletters, no other experts. It was purely Launchboom thesis and Indiegogo's support. This was what worked for us.
Wow, that's incredible. I do want to highlight to the audience that those levels of returns are definitely not typical. Those are definitely like top 1% results that you were able to achieve there. And I think to highlight what you said earlier, it really came down to like how to structure the landing page, right? Knowing which customers you're speaking to and what benefits sell specifically to that target demographic. So really good job there, Sai. So what would you say? You mentioned not having sufficient advertising spend is one of the bigger mistakes. What would you say is your second biggest mistake that you made during the campaign?
Not having funds is actually a good mistake to have, actually, because your campaign is running well. So I would say that is second one. The first one was operationally we were not well prepared, I would say. Which means our credit cards we were using or the ad accounts we were using, they had troubles throughout pre-launch and throughout the campaign as well. So in pre-launch, out of 45 days we did pre-launch, 10 days our ad accounts were blocked. We could not do anything. We were not prepared to handle that situation well. During the campaign, around 3 to 4 days, the same thing repeated for us. I think that mistake we should not repeat, and we should never do such. I mean, as a company, we have to be much more prepared in terms of having a better credit cards, such things, which got us into trouble there. So that is something we really regret that we were not planned. But next time when we do, I think we will rectify that. That's the biggest mistake we had. We were not operationally, we didn't sort out a lot of things properly.
What advice would you give to people who are thinking about launching their product right now?
Work with Launchboom. That's the first advice I would give. And not just that, right? Like your community also really, really good. A lot of people there who worked on other campaigns, they do give good feedback, and it was amazing experience for us. So I would recommend everyone to focus on getting structure to your campaign, understand the messaging, understand how to sell your product better, because that's what, like you said, gives a long-term strength to your product or your company. So I would recommend them, it's okay to invest initially money, because that's the most important space where you need to put money to get the right product messaging and to find the right market whom we need to target. So I would recommend everyone to do that first before thinking of launching a campaign.
Yeah, and really using that reservation funnel, that dollar reservation to like validate, right? To be that true positive indicator of, okay, what is actually working? What is the product positioning that is working? Like we hear about a lot of people sending out surveys or talking to customers, and that's fine and that's great and all, but the best way is to actually test out the product positioning and messaging in your landing pages, putting it out there and seeing if people are willing to give you their credit card information, right? So just really wanted to highlight that.
No, exactly. I don't know whether I missed that, but that's the key part of the whole the pre-launch strategy. That's the only way for a startup to understand whether the product has the demand and what messaging has the demand, or even as simple as having a better landing page also will give that a bad result. So we would learn at every stage, what is working, what sells better, and the kind of return on ad spend we are getting also showcases a thing like what can be the market size, and a lot of metrics that you suggested us, right? Okay, if you have these many reservations, this could be the probable conversions. I think everything was as per the equation. I think you guys have already figured out a lot of things, in most cases, in 99.9% cases, I believe similar result would occur. And as soon as we saw day one, we felt like, oh wow, how do you guys know this much before us, right? So that was the feeling we had. So I think yeah, like you said, that is something it has to be emphasized more by following the reservation process that you guys have designed, right? So a lot of learning can happen through that, and it's an essential part for a launch.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what you were talking about there is like looking at all the different leading indicators prior to the launch, right? The team interpreting that for you. And when you just said, how did you guys know? Well, the team has looked at so many pre-launch campaigns, and we have the benchmark metrics to all of the different leading indicators, everything from cost per reservation to cost per lead to click-through rates to CPM, so on and so forth. And the team is able to look at all of those things and the metrics that your campaign was able to achieve, and then be able to predict and reverse engineer your goals and tell you, hey, this is roughly how much you'll be able to hit in day one, right? So thanks for sharing that, Sai. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit here.
I just want to add one more point there because you mentioned that. So we worked with Spencer in your team, and he was super decisive in terms of giving us the feedback and giving us this information that we just talked about. I think a big kudos to him, because we are very shy guys, I would say. I mean, I introverted little bit, right? But he made us really, really comfortable, and he made us understand a lot of things really well. So I just wanted to mention that because it was a great help. I cannot deny that at all. So just wanted to mention about it.
I'm so glad to hear that, Sai. I mean, Spencer, just so everyone knows who's listening, he's one of our senior consultants here at LaunchBoom. He was the first employee here at LaunchBoom, and I didn't even tell you this, Sai, but prior to joining LaunchBoom, I was actually a client of LaunchBoom's, and Spencer was one of my account managers. So when I was a client, Spencer helped me out as well. So he's been doing this with LaunchBoom clients and for crowdfunding for a very long time. He actually helped develop a lot of the systems and processes that we follow today. So thank you for saying that. He's going to get a kick out of hearing this. He's always welcoming positive feedback with open arms. So that's great. Thank you for saying that, Sai. So I know launching a product, creating a product, manufacturing it comes with a lot of stress and fears and anxiety, right? What are some things that you do that helps you handle those things to help you step outside of your comfort zone a little bit?
I think first time everybody would go through that. There's no doubt about it, because you think you plan a lot in especially a hardware or a physical product. There are so many unknowns that will be there in that. So I think you just have to believe that it is okay, and it will take time to reach there. You just have to be patient and get the right product out. Don't take wrong decisions in a hurry or in stress. We went through this. That's why I'm just saying that. Because you just have to do the right thing every single day. Be patient till the end. I think it'll, and listen to the customers. So listen to the customers what they are saying every single day. Be transparent to them, and then I think find good partners from the initially itself. I think that would help reduce your stress, I would say. But it's very natural. Every physical product owner will go through this in their first cycle, probably in their second cycle, and probably in their third cycle also. We just have to get used to it.
Yeah, and then every time you do it, you get you build a little bit more confidence too, right? You go, oh, I've been there before. I've been in this uncomfortable spot before, and I've navigated through it. But it's the first time is always the hardest. So
Exactly.
okay, what is a trait that you admire most in other people that makes you go, wow, and why?
Energy. Energy is very contagious for me, or I would say for many people as well. If you see a person is very energetic, have great ideas, and more than that, actually not just speak that and actually do that and execute that. That something is very, very attractive, and they are like superstars, I would say, or all of our superheroes. So that's what I mean. That's what I really, really. Anyone who executes something, respect.
And do you have any particular rituals or habits that you do consistently that you find like make better days for you and help you deal with those stressful situations better?
Not actually, but maybe one thing that for me personally, I would say is the stressful situation comes when there is no clarity on something. So I try to take some time and try to get clarity as quickly as possible in any problem or in any kind of a situation. That gives peace of mind, and that reduces all the stress. Because once you have clarity, you know what to do. Then you believe in yourself, and you have your team to get things done. So that's the important thing for me, actually, to have a clear picture or clarity of mind. So that's what I'll try to focus many a times, but no other habit or something.
That's so true, Sai. Like when people are stressed, it's because they're making up a lot of these different stories in their head about what might potentially happen, right? It's anxiety about things that haven't happened yet. So what are some of the things that you do to get clarity? Is it books? Is it articles? Is it talking to people? How do you get clarity in stressful situations?
I first try to solve it myself. If not, I'll just go to an expert and try to share my concern, and I'll try to share my thought process first, and I'll try to find out what is something wrong in my thought process, or how should I think better to get a solution there. That's what I do. I'm not really a book person, but I just go to someone who really has done that, or who knows, definitely, who has great knowledge. So go there, explain my thought process, try to correct it, get feedback, then go back and try to solve it myself.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's really, really good. And do you have a purchase or investment of, let's say, I don't know, it doesn't have to be, but around less than $300, let's say, could be more, could be less, that you would recommend, or an investment that you made in that's around $300 that's made a significant change in your life or gave you a really good ROI that's noteworthy?
I have invested in some of the not for ROI, I would say. We invested some of the crowdfunding campaigns where good products came out to market. But personally, $300 with a good ROI, I've not done that so far.
And we can come back to it if you think of something later, but like to give you an example, one of my closer friends, Jeff, he says, like Bose headphones were one of the best purchases or investments he's made because now he can sleep much better on planes. If nothing comes up, totally fine. But
It was not $300 for sure. I just bought an electric a bike in India, so that gives me peace of mind a lot of times, and quality of ride is better, and a lot of good things happen with that. But it's not $300; it's a lot more expensive.
what is that bike?
It's called Aether Energy. It's an Indian startup which is Soonicorn right now, started by one of my seniors here in college. It's a great bike, fastest. You feel like Tesla on it when you are riding it. So it goes from 0 to 60 in the fastest time on a bike. And for a city travel, especially in Bangalore where there is huge traffic, sometimes going in that, you reduce the time of commute, and you reduce the pollution. You feel better about it as well. So that's why it gives a good peace of mind for me. Especially you don't know about Bangalore traffic. It takes 3 hours sometimes to go from a place A to B, which is just 15-20 kilometers sometimes. So it's a terrible traffic here.
Is there anything else that you would like to leave with the audience before we wrap up here, Sai?
I think I want to share my learnings from our campaign, post-campaign learnings. So number one thing, in the same year of 2023, there were 2 more smart rings that were launched on the same Kickstarter, Indiegogo platforms. Still, we could do a world record in reaching the fastest to 1 million. Right, so that actually gave us a lot of confidence about our product offering, and in turn we felt like we got a good product market fit. From there, we kind of now see a potential of about $150 million as the revenue opportunity for the next 2.5 years. This again came from talking to all these thousands of people, understanding why they are shifting from one brand to another brand. Why would they choose us over an Aura, right? So a lot of understanding went by analyzing the customer patterns, their questions, their answers. So it was really helpful. This campaign was really helpful to us, and we look forward to actually using this campaign and to maximize its potential, to see if we can really achieve that $150 million target. For that, that's what we have kept it immediately after the campaign was over. That's when we put our next target, 2.5 years, $150 million, 500K units of products is what we are aiming for now. But that confidence we would not have gotten if we had not done the structured way of finding the customer, messaging actually. Now there's another big part left. We need to deliver and get feedback and get the best quality product to the market. But we have achieved half of our what we wanted to achieve so far. So that's what I wanted to share. So crowdfunding and launch boom and this whole process, I think can lead to $1 billion opportunity. So if we really do a 150 million revenue in the next 2.5 years, our company will be valued at $1 billion dollar value. So I that's what I wanted to share, how a small thing can lead to a great opportunity.
Wow, that is an incredible, what a way to I think that's a perfect way to end this podcast, actually, Sai. Thank you so much for sharing that with me and the rest of the audience, and I look forward to having another conversation with you when you hit on this podcast, obviously, when you hit $150 million in revenue in the next few years.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks a lot. And big thanks to you and the team as well.
Appreciate that, Sai.